Hello! System services. Ecosystem services are the many benefits that nature gives to people. This help us survive and live well. There are five main types. First, provisioning services. Second, regulated services. Third, cultural services. Fourth, supporting services. Five, resilience and stability. And last, genetic diversity. Provisioning services are arguably the most direct and tangible benefits that humans derive from ecosystems. These are the material products that ecosystems provide, which are essential for human survival and economic activities like food, fresh water, timber, and fiber, medical resources, fuel, and genetic resources. Regulating services are the benefits obtained from the regulation of ecosystem processes. These services maintain environmental quality and mitigate various risks, often operating on a larger systemic scale like climate regulation, disease control, water purification, and waste decomposition and detoxification. Encompasses the non-material benefits that people obtain from ecosystems through spiritual enrichment, cognitive development, reflection, recreation, and aesthetic experiences. These services contribute to human well-being, quality of life, and cultural identity, like recreational opportunities, aesthetic appreciation, spiritual and religious values, educational and scientific values, and sense of place and cultural heritage. Cultural services highlight the profound psychological, emotional, and social connections between humans and the natural world, demonstrating that our well-being extends beyond material needs. Supporting services are those that are necessary for the production of all other ecosystem services. They are the foundational processes that enable ecosystems to function and provide the other categories of services. While they do not directly provide benefits to humans in the short term, they are absolutely essential for the long-term sustainability of all other services, like nutrient cycling, soil formation, primary production, and water cycling. Supporting services are the behind-the-scenes mechanisms that keep the entire ecosystem engine running. Their degradation can have cascading negative impacts on all other services, often with significant time lags, making them difficult to recognize until damage is severe. Resilience and stability are crucial characteristics of healthy ecosystems, particularly in the face of increasing environmental pressures. Resilience. This refers to the capacity of an ecosystem to resist disturbance, absorb stress, and reorganize while undergoing change so as to retain essentially the same function, structure, identity, and feedbacks. In simpler terms, a resilient ecosystem can bounce back after a disruption such as a wildfire, flood, or disease outbreak. High biodiversity often contributes to greater resilience. For instance, if one species in a complex food web is affected by a disease, other species may be able to take over its food sources, preventing a complete collapse of the system. Stability. This concept is related to resilience but often refers to the ecosystem ability to maintain its structure and function over time, exhibiting minimal fluctuations in the face of normal environmental variation. A stable ecosystem is less prone to dramatic shifts or sudden declines. Different forms of stability include resistance, recovery, and persistence. Genetic diversity refers to the total number of genetic characteristics in the genetic makeup of a species. It's more variation in genes within a species and is fundamental for the survival and adaptation of populations in changing environments. Adaptation to changing environments raw materials for evolution, breeding new crop varieties, developing disease-resistant livestock, ecosystem stability, and loss of genetic diversity. In essence, genetic diversity is the biological insurance policy for life on Earth, enabling species to persist and thrive in an ever-changing world.
Impact of human health. The decline in biodiversity can have significant negative consequences for human health. First is food security and nutrition. Loss of biodiversity, particularly in agricultural system, can reduce the variety of food sources and genetic diversity of crops, making food system more vulnerable to pests and diseases and potentially leading to nutritional deficiencies. Second is emergence of diseases. Biodiversity loss can disrupt ecological balances, potentially increasing the risk of zoonotic diseases, that is, diseases transmitted from animals to human. When natural habitats are disturbed, species interactions change and pathogens may find new hosts. Third is mental health and well-being. Access to diverse natural environments has been linked to improved mental health, reduce stress, and increase physical activity. Urban green spaces, for example, are known to boost mood and cognitive function. Fourth is air and water quality. Healthy ecosystems such as forests and wetlands naturally filter air and water pollutants, contributing directly to better respiratory and public health. And the last is medicine and research. The loss of species means a potential loss of undiscovered medical compounds and genetic resources that could be vital for future medical advancement and scientific research.
First is habitat loss and degradation, driven by agricultural development and deforestation. This is the leading cause of species extinction. So, habitat loss and degradation means the natural homes of animals and plants are destroyed or damaged because of farming, building cities, roads, and cutting down trees. Second is climate change, altering habitats, species, distributions, and ecological processes, leading to extinctions and ecosystem collapse. So climate change means change in temperature and weather that affect where animals and plants can live, making it hard for some species to survive and causing some to disappear. Third is pollution. Contamination of air, water, and soil by industrial chemicals, plastic, and agricultural runoff harms wildlife and ecosystem. So pollution happens when harmful substances like chemicals, plastic, and waste make the air, water, and soil dirty, which hurts animals, plants, and their environment. And last is overexploitation. Unsustainable hunting, fishing, and harvesting of resources deplete population and can lead to species extinction. So, overexploitation means taking too many animals, fish, or plants from nature cause their numbers to drop and some species to disappear.
Invasive alien species. So ang invasive alien species is kanang magbalhin ka og animal sa lain nga lugar. Dayon makakos na siya og problema kay kanang mabaguhan siya sa environment diha sa iyang gibalhinan nga lugar. Mao na ang pasabot sa invasive alien species. And next is conservation and sustainable practice. So ang conservation and sustainable practice is kanang way siya kanang for example kanang mga prutas, mga tanom dapat og bisan gagamit ana ato silang kon bitaw kanang dili nato abusaran kay para sa hangtod-hangtod nga magamit pagyapon nato ni sila. Ug mao na ang pasabot sa conservation and sustainable practice. Sustainable resources management. Sustainable resources management is example is kanang dili nato abusaran ang ato ang kuan kanang example kanang sa 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 mga bukid, kanang mga bundok. Dili ta magpataka bitaw kanang putol-putol sa mga kahoy kay umabot ang kanang climate change or kaning bagyo. Di ba kita ra gyapon ang mag-suffer, di dapat nato protektahan gyapon nato ang atong kuan nga dili nato abusaran og kanang magputol-putol sa mga kahoy. Mao nang pasabot sa sustainable sources management.
Restoration ecology. Restoring degraded ecosystem to improve their health and functionality. So, restoration is the process of helping degraded ecosystems recover their health and functionality. So, like for example, reforestation project para mabalik ito ang kanindot sa atong nature or forest. Next is addressing climate change, reducing greenhouse gas emissions, and adapting to the impacts of climate change to mitigate its effects on biodiversity. Like for example, investing of renewable energy source like solar and wind power. Next is policy and governance. Developing strong environmental policies, international agreements, and enforcement mechanisms to promoting biodiversity conservation. So, developing and enforcing environmental policies and international agreements is kanang mga pamalakad ni siya kanang para maprotektahan ng atong biodiversity. For example, enforcement of environmental laws para ma-prevent ang illegal logging and mining activities. So, nindot ni siya nga pamalakad kay para kanang malikayan nato ang kanang sigig pagbaha or landslide nana. Last is education and awareness. So, rising public understanding of the value of biodiversity and importance of its conservation. So, increasing public knowledge and understanding of the importance of biodiversity conservation. Like for example, is launching public awareness campaigns para ma-reduce ang plastic waste and promoting recycling. That's all.